Hello everyone, and welcome to another News Coolum video. And I guess this is sort of going to be an impromptu response to Zac and Jesse at Now You Know. So they recently posted up a video. Basically, it's the Superchargers stupid, and I wanted to talk about it because it's rife with misinformation and mischaracterizations. And I feel like what it mostly is being basically a Tesla commercial, right? It's if Tesla paid for an infomercial, that's what you got out of Jesse and Zac for Now You Know. Now, one of the things is they have reached out to Chevrolet Bolt EV owners apparently because they wanted to find out, what it's like to own a Bolt EV, and I filled out their form. I doubt that they're going to ask me, because it seems like maybe what they're interested in finding out is how Bolt EV owners feel about the perceived, end of the Bolt EV, or the cancellation of the Bolt EV, which GM has never stated, and there's no data to actually support that. So I really highly doubt that they're actually interested in an earnest account from a Chevrolet Bolt EV owner about what their ownership and driving experience was like. But that's not really what I wanted to talk about in this video. What I wanted to talk about was that video that they had published. And so I'm doing this sort of guerrilla style because, I've got to take the little boy for a walk. I don't have, you didn't see that. So I don't have a whole lot of time. And their video is 42 minutes long. It took them 30 minutes just to get to their main argument, the crux of their argument, which is what I, fundamentally disagree with. And, they claim that even if automakers basically were to increase their production, so non-Tesla automakers, even if they were to increase their production, they would never match Tesla in terms of sales. And I fundamentally disagree with that, and there's a real reason, easy reason for that. Is it's not the Superchargers, it's production stupid, and there's evidence to show exactly why. Right, there are already over 100,000 reservations for the Chevrolet Silverado EV truck. The Chevrolet Bolt EV, before the stop sale recall, it was number 7 in the country among all vehicles in terms of shortest time in inventory. So basically, these cars were sent out from the factory to lots. They spent less time than all but 6 other cars in the country. They spent the shortest time on the lot waiting to be purchased. So this idea that there's no demand for non-Tesla EVs, it's not really based in any facts or statistics that I could find. And that's what I found most troubling about Zac and Jesse's misrepresentations is, they came across as being factual. You have a show that's calling itself Now You Know, but they're not really sharing actual factual information, right? It's all, like I said, either mischaracterizations. There were some things that they said that were valid and true, but the problem is you can't have a legitimate discussion about the public charging infrastructure without, basically having to concede that Tesla is better than everybody else, and that's that. But that's not actually how things work, and that's not actually true. There are strengths and weaknesses to each. And one of the things that I think was most fundamentally flawed about Now You Know's presentation is the assumption, right, that everything is well and good with the Superchargers and there's never any issues and there's never any problems. Yet they're hyper-focusing on potential issues with the public charging infrastructure. So there's definitely like a disparate treatment there, and I don't think that they were being fair or balanced in their reporting. Now, the thing is, I did write probably 5 pages worth of comments and responses, fact checking throughout the video. So again, this is a 42-minute video, and I don't think anybody wants to spend 30 minutes listening to me respond to it, because I easily could, but like I said, I don't even have time for that. You know, I'm walking the dog, I have errands to run, shopping to do. I just maybe wanted to hit some of the high points, some of the areas where they were, you know, very, very wrong. One of the things that they mischaracterized was pricing, right? They implied that it was like $8 for a membership for Electrify America, when Electrify America's monthly membership is actually $4. So it's not like these are some onerous membership fees that they're asking you to pay. And then the next thing is, you know, they talked about charger activation times. And honestly, this is an issue. I called it out on one of my site reviews for EVgo. And these Signet chargers, like the ones that are behind me, they have really long activation times. But Zac and Jesse were trying to talk about those being like minute long or several minutes long to activate. You know, I pulled in and started charging, right? Like right away. It wasn't an issue. It did take a little longer than I'd like to activate, but if you look at, there's actually an umlaut best in class, or whatever they call their study report. I'll put a link to it below, but it actually outlined the amount of time that the handshakes actually take. And yes, Tesla was the best. It was like 8 to 9 seconds, but ChargePoint was 12, right? Most of the other public charging providers were under 20 seconds, and then even the longest ones were only about 30 seconds. So to say that you're talking about minutes long activation on the handshake, that's beyond a hyperbole, and it's a misrepresentation. You know, you want it to be faster and you want it to be a better experience, but it doesn't take minutes. And then the other thing is they're talking about hours, right? Hours spent charging. They went on this long tirade about how much longer non-Tesla EVs spend charging and how it's more likely that they're going to be blocking a spot. But very few people DC fast charge for an hour in any vehicle. If you want to charge a Chevrolet Bolt EV from empty to full on a DC fast charger, yeah, it's going to take you over 2 hours to do. But some of the newer non-Tesla EVs, like the Kia EV6, the Hyundai Ioniq 5, these are vehicles that will charge from empty to full in 45 minutes. That's faster than a Tesla will, right? The Porsche Taycan will charge from basically 5% to 80% in 20 minutes, right? Again, faster than any Tesla. So, you know, you have them sort of cherry picking and picking out very specific instances where Tesla is better than, or these other specific instances are much worse than Tesla, and then coming to the conclusion, the general conclusion, that in all cases this is the case. And it's just not true. Like, they were cherry picking ChargePoint 24 kilowatt chargers, and you can't just go cherry pick data like that and then try to make a case or an argument for the superiority of your network. And then of course they're talking about charging curves and things like that. And no, like Hyundai Ioniq 5 owners are posting up pictures of charging at like 230 kilowatts after their battery's already 50% full. Teslas don't do that, right? This is like a ridiculous concept that Tesla is all superior in these fronts. And then of course the other aspect of it is they're talking about, oh, well, there are idle fees that will prevent people from squatting. But the truth of the matter is those are pretty much across most networks. So Electrify America, the stations behind me, they have an idle fee after you finish charging. You know, EVgo has built-in 30-minute, 45-minute, and 1 hour sessions. You just can't charge after that. And then a lot of ChargePoint chargers do have parking fees that start after a certain period. So this isn't something that's unique to Tesla. This isn't, in fact, it's not even something I believe that Tesla came up with. They did it in response after seeing what EVgo and ChargePoint and Electrify America were doing. So yeah, this isn't some strength or inherent advantage in the Tesla Supercharger network. And then of course, you know, like one of the other aspects of it that they were harping on is the number of stalls, you know, per site. Like this one behind me only has 4 chargers. so despite the fact that there are 4 to 5 times as many public charging sites in North America, the average number of stalls per site isn't as high. And you know, that is a legitimate fact. But here's the thing, you have to decide what's the balance. And a lot of these Tesla sites, they have 10, 15, 20 chargers per site. Is that justified? Is that needed, right? How many sites, how many stalls do you need in order to assure reasonable access given the population of EVs? And considering the population of CCS EVs is much lower than the population of Tesla vehicles at this time, the ratio of CCS stalls to CCS EVs, it's a better, healthier ratio than the ratio of Tesla vehicles to supercharger stalls. So you're more likely to get blocked at a Tesla supercharger even if it has 10 to 15 to 20 stalls than you are at a public charging site that only has 4. So I think the real issue here is these sort of misrepresentations of you know, what these chargers and stations are like. And I think they also missed the point that for some people, they use these chargers as destination chargers. They're not here necessarily just for the fastest charge up time or the most convenient location. They're here because they want to be at this destination for another purpose, and having a DC fast charger here makes the most sense. And one other thing that they used in terms of just sort of disparate treatment, right, is they're going to these individual charging providers' maps and using them and filtering or maybe not filtering and not really showing a genuine picture of what the public charging infrastructure looks like. But they were willing to use a third-party map for the superchargers, the Supercharger info map, instead of Tesla's own map. So if they're going to do that, why aren't they using PlugShare, which will let you filter and actually show you site review scores, that will show you you know, availability, number of chargers, amenities, things like that. So like and then just overall, Jesse and Zac seem pretty ignorant about what it's like to live with and operate a non-Tesla EV, right? They didn't even seem aware that what you can do is you can actually search for chargers while you are driving, and you get to see, you know, you get to see how many stalls are available, what's currently in use. You get to see all of this information, and you get to search for it in real time as you're driving and have it come up on your screen. I did a video of this almost 3 years ago now, and they still seem completely unaware that this functionality is available for most non-Tesla EVs and most public charging networks. So there's a lot of stuff they just seem wholly ignorant about. So to be talking about this subject as experts, it really sort of bothers me, because they don't seem to know what they're talking about. You know, they were also talking about reliability scores. Well, EVgo actually publishes that they have a 98% EV charger uptime, right? So their chargers are up and available 98% of the time. And the only thing that they could provide from Tesla was that they have near 100% of their superchargers with 50% of the stalls or more up at any given time. 50%, and you're complaining about one charger going dead out of 4 at an Electrify America site? That does not seem like you're being fair, again, or balanced. And then, like I said, it's just, they seem wholly ignorant about it, and they didn't even want to acknowledge that EVgo had published that 98% charger uptime. I guess maybe they were embarrassed that it could possibly be better than Tesla's. I don't know. And then, of course, they're talking about other automakers not investing in the public charging infrastructure, completely ignoring those Ultium-ready sites that I featured on here, where GM has basically dropped $1 billion to build new EVgo charging sites with 350 kilowatt charging capabilities. And, you know, Nissan's been dropping millions of dollars. A lot of these other companies have been, you know, funding money into these charging infrastructure. And then, of course, they get to like the costs and how much that they think that this infrastructure would take to build. And they noted how Electrify America had put in almost $1 billion of money. Well, it's true. And then they tried to extrapolate out how many chargers that would equal, but they went from talking about chargers to talking about sites. And then I don't know which one is which, Jesse or Zac, one of them said, oh, that's only 5,000 chargers. No, it's 5,000 charging sites with an average of 4.5 chargers per site. That's massive. Like that is tremendously big. And if the network expands to that size, nobody in the United States will have problems traveling anywhere, you know, after that $5 billion, $7 billion investment plan that they're talking about for public DC fast charging. So I think it's a little bit, actually, again, I probably ranted too long. My car might even be done charging hours later. No, we're only at 76%, but I do need to head out. So like I said, this is just frustrating. This is not the type of misinformation that I like to have to address because frankly, it's just a waste of everyone's time, right? There's a lot of positive stories to be shared. You know, I wanted to do a quick video of how I activate Electrify America chargers, what I found to be the most effective and sort of, I guess, problem-free or error-free way of doing it. You know, like all sorts of positive stories about traveling, about working on an electric truck, that sort of thing, a 20-year-old electric truck. I want to talk about those things. I don't want to have to fact check Tesla influencers who are clearly just trying to bolster their Tesla investment in light of a recent surge of non-Tesla EVs coming to market. That doesn't seem like a good use of my time. And for those of you who aren't aware just how big of a deal this is, you know, right now you have some people who are heavily invested in Tesla trying to justify that position. And one of the only ways that they know how to do it is addressing these threats, right? And these are threats. Non-Tesla EVs at this point are a threat to anybody who has a heavy Tesla investment because it's very likely to devalue that investment. So these Tesla influencers are almost compelled to share FUD and misinformation about the public charging infrastructure, how it's used, who's using it, you know, how it works and why, how much it costs, the reliability, all of that. So basically all I wanted to do with this video is, you know, address their problems with their presentation and fact check it a little bit and give an alternative perspective from someone who travels a lot using the public charging infrastructure and does so successfully. So anyway, like I said, I've kind of run out of time. I have stuff to do. I'd love to hear what you think about it. Are you running into a lot more of this Tesla FUD now that other EV automakers are really pushing what they're going to be providing? Have you used the public charging infrastructure? Do you use it a lot? And what issues and improvements do you want to see? If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And thank you for watching. All right, I think you've had enough.